Alright, we're gonna try recording this knucklehead here in front of me. Try to go around me at the stop sign because he's impatient. Patient as all get out. Drivers, boy, impatient. I don't know how well this is picking up my voice, because this is going to be a test run. We are on our way to church today, so I figured this would be a good test run to test the mic and see how the camera goes, testing all my equipment. Glove is not secure on my arm. It is on the one hand, but not the other. I got somebody who wants to ride my rear end from behind. I'm doing above the speed limit. We are on our way to test out the camera with voice, and we are headed to church. It looks like we have a green arrow, which is good. So I don't have to wait at the stoplight. Light is going to change. Need to fix this glove, but not going to get the chance. Okay, so why did I choose the ZX-4RR? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about me, why I chose it. Oh, this guy's getting ready to turn, so I better pay attention as I'm running my mouth. Number one, I'm an older rider. I'm over 50, not by much. So I actually started riding motorcycles back in my 30s and 40s. Started out with Harley, started out with a Sportster, and rode rode for several years, but because of life and different things, ended up having to give it up. And kind of wanted to tell myself, well, maybe I'll get back on one of these days. Then to resist the urge, I kept saying, nah, it's pretty dangerous. Don't want to ride. Long story short, I ended up getting the itch to want to ride again. And I've always wanted to ride a sports bike. In fact, you go, well, why didn't you ride a sports bike when you were younger, in your 30s and 40s? Well, I kind of thought this was kind of a 20-year-old guy's kind of thing, and not necessarily somebody in 30s and 40s. Plus, everybody that I knew were getting Harleys and doing that. So the whole crotch rockets and sport bikes were supposedly young guys. Anyways, after doing the Harley stuff, I enjoyed the Harleys. I don't know, but the cruisers, they were nice, they were fun, but I don't know, I just always wanted to try a sports bike. So, long story short, I got the itch. Things changed in life, empty nest, no kids, only work now a mile from home. I thought, this is a good time of my life to get back on a bike and give a sports bike a try. I need to watch this intersection over here because these people will turn from up here. And anyways, long story short, sports bike was about as close as I am going to get to a sports car. My budget, I'm not going to be able to own the sports cars as I want, so sports bike was the closest thing to that kind of experience. Wasn't going to break the bank. So, and the beautiful thing is, this bike's bought and paid for from what I did when I sold my regular car, because not only am I doing a sports bike, but I'm making this my daily driver every day. Now, I know some people are going to say, that's kind of crazy. Why a sports bike for a daily driver? Well, again, like I said, much later in life, don't work very far from home, I could make a sports bike doable because I don't have to drive it super duper far. And probably driving to church right now is probably about the furthest I would have. Well, no, I'll take that back. Driving to my dad's house would probably be the furthest I would have to drive, and that would require me getting on the interstate. And anyways, long story short, I started looking at bikes. First I looked at the Yamaha R7. They were in the price range, and looked at all the specs, and then I got my head turned, probably like a lot of people, started looking about horsepower, wanted more horsepower, and started looking at the Kawasaki Ninjas. And so I know what folks are probably thinking, why'd you go with the 4RR? That's not a lot of horsepower. Well, I really did want to go with the 6R. The problem was there was none for sale in my state when I came time for me to want to buy a bike. And so then I started looking at the 400s. As the guy at the bike shop said, you know, you probably want to start with something that not a ton of power, but can still have fun and learn to ride a sport bike. And I got to thinking, you know, maybe that'd be stay there car and don't come out of there. That'd make a whole lot more sense to do that. And so I started looking at the specs, and I looked at the horsepower that the 4R did, and I know it's restricted compared to what the Europeans got, but once you unflash it, it makes the same horsepower as the R7, which is what I initially was going to get. And so I thought, okay, well, the other thing was they had this one in the color that I really wanted. I really liked the 40th anniversary color, and they didn't have the R7 in blue, it was only in black, and I really wanted something where I could be seen in. And so I went back to the store and saw that they had the 4RR, started doing more research on it, and the more I thought about it, you know, somebody my age, 400 wouldn't be bad to start out on. And looking at all the different reviews, people talked about just how fun this was to ride and stuff and so forth. And so I said, you know what, let's do the 400. And the other thing is, I really like the sound of the 400. Like, it makes the sound, of what I thought like a sport bike should be. And I'm gonna watch this Sentra. I don't know if he's gonna try to cut over or if he's turning. Alright. So no, he's turning. Alright, I gotta be careful through here. Some gravel and dirt. Anyways, I really like the sound this thing makes. It sounds like a sport bike to me. Not that the R7 and M don't sound like a motorcycle. It just sounded too close to the Harley to me. And I really didn't want something that sounded like a Harley. I wanted something to sound like a sport bike, that Formula One high whine. And this inline 4 really screams like a high performance sports bike. I mean, technically it is. They call it the 4RR, so it's a 400cc race ready bike. Just the North American version is gimped at 50 horsepower instead of the 70 something that the Europeans get. So anyways, I felt like this was a good fit for me to start on, and after buying it, I don't regret it. It's probably good I didn't have a ton of power underneath me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I tell people this thing's fast enough for me to meet Jesus on it. So it's definitely fast enough for me to hurt myself on if I act stupid. Oh, watch this. Alright. Man, that just sounds like a motorcycle. It just, I don't know. It screams like a motorcycle that I think a motorcycle should sound like. So anyways, pick this up, don't regret it. I'm about 5'11", a little on the heavier side. I know people always ask. And my fear was I didn't want to look like Gray Bape on the bike. And supposedly as I sat on it, the wife said, no, it doesn't look too small for me or anything like that. So anyways, so far I've been really enjoying it. I've had it for about 3 weeks now. Done a couple of videos with my equipment, and decided, you know, I'll try my hand like everybody else, doing these different channels. And I think I can make a left here, right here. Yeah. I mean a right. You need to make a right here. I probably should turn there, but oh well. Alright. Oh, this is F Avenue. Yeah, I turned at the wrong spot. Careful of gravel or dirt or sand. Looks like there's a lot of sand and dirt on these little side roads. I probably should have just stuck to the main drag. But I probably need to be careful so I don't lose it through this dirt. A lot of dirt right here. A lot of sand. Alright, this is the street. God, there's a lot of sand. I gotta be careful right here. Gotta be careful. Alright, note to self. Come on, lady. Pay attention. I gotta be careful with some sand on those side roads. I rode a regular pedal bike at Myrtle Beach one time and had my back tire go out from under me from traction on sand, and I don't want to repeat that process. With any of the sand around here. Alright, make a left here, pull in the church, and I need to be careful of the pine straw. Pine straw, you can slip out just as easy. Through here too bad. But anyways, so this was my choice. I'm going to be doing videos on riding this thing every day for work, for leisure rides, for like you see me today, riding to church, and this is going to be perspective from an older rider. Not that younger guys certainly couldn't watch the channel, but definitely from an older guy perspective. What's interesting is I thought people would definitely think I was real crazy, which they kind of do. I felt like Ralphie from A Christmas Story, and you know, where he said, I wanted a Red Ryder BB gun. Everybody's like, you shoot your eye out, kid. Well, when I told everybody I wanted a sport bike, I always got, you got to be careful, be real careful. And I'm like, I know. But anyways, I talked to a buddy of mine who's close to my age. When I told him bought a sport bike, I was expecting him to be like, man, you're crazy, what are you thinking at your age? And come to find out, he was thinking the exact same thing I was. So it made me think, how many guys out there might be like me, who are my age, who may be thinking of, hey, do I want to do a sport bike? And you know, is that something I may want to do? And I got a car behind me. And so anyway, so that's what I'm doing with this video. It looks like my buddy rolled his little motorcycle. I forgot what it's called. I told him I was riding mine up to church today, and it looks like he rode his. So I think I'm gonna try to park mine right next to his. And I got this car right next to behind me. How's it going?
Nice bike.
Thanks.